So, good day, everyone. Welcome to Tech Tribe Podcast. So, this afternoon, napakaswerte natin at pinayagan tayo na may interview tayo ng isa sa kilalang mga individual in the field of AI. He is a founder and chief AI scientist. And kanina, and before kami mag-start, meron siyang kinikwento mga ventures niya before. And hopefully, ma-share niya sa atin yung mga ideas and experiences niya for us na maging guide natin, especially sa mga students, sa mga founders, sa mga technologies na rin. Without further ado, here is Sir Alan Tan. So,
Hey, hello everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you, Oscar. Thank you for having me.
yeah,
I'm looking forward to this discussion. Ano ba ang
yes.
gusto natin pag-usapan ngayon?
Ayun. So, previously, sir, yun nga po ang objective namin dito talaga sa Tech Tribe Podcast is to build a tribe of tech leaders. Kung saan nag-i-invite po tayo ng mga guests, individuals in the field of technology. Napakadaming branches ng technology, pwede tayo sa startups, sa AI, sa blockchain. And for this afternoon, na napakaswerte po namin at nandyan po kayo sa in the field of AI. However, kanina before tayo mag-start, meron kayong naikwento at gusto i-share sa atin na you think is mas fit sa ating discussion and sa ating mga audience. But regardless naman po, kung ano man ang inyong may share sa amin, it would be very helpful sa amin. So again, Sir Alan, for mag-start na rin po sana tayo. And can you please, Sir Alan, share with us your background, your career background and your journey?
Okay, sige. Background ko talaga is nasa computer science. So, bata pa ako, mahilig na ako mag-program. That has been my passion ever since. So, yun yung talagang, I guess, naging focus ko. That's where I spent my 10,000 hours na na-build ko yung expertise doon. When I graduated, I still work for about 10 years before ako nag-start ng company. By the way, laking probinsya din ako from Bicol. So doon ako nag-graduate ng high school. Doon din ako natuto mag-computer noong mga panahon na wala pang computer. Pag mo naitanong kung kailan, pero napakatagal na noon. Baka yung ibang listeners mo di pa pinapanganak.
Yes.
Nagko-computer na ako. And then I worked for about 10 years, both big and small. Yung first realization ko na like magbi-business ako was in one of the job interviews. Tinanong nila ako na like, how do you see yourself, 5 to 10 years from now? Parang ganun. And naturally, ang pumasok nga sa akin magka-business. But of course, it was a job interview, di ba? So usually ang answer I want to grow as part of your company, ganun. Kaya lang siguro natural intuition ko, gusto ko magka-business. Like parang ang dating gusto ko maging competitor tayo, parang ganun. But that made me that hindi ako na-hire by the way. But that made me realize na I should probably have a foresight 5 to 10 years from now. So whenever I also hire employees, new candidates, I also ask the same question. And I'm not surprised na marami sa kanila hindi rin nila alam. But having that vision, that insight na kung ano yung gusto mo maging can help you prepare for your future. Diba? Kasi kung hindi mo alam, edi wala. Kung saan ka lang hatakin, doon ka pupunta. Diba? But if you have something like that, then you will be able to prepare. So nangyari, after that, ang mga companies na ginoin ko would be more of the startup, smaller type of companies. Because you get exposed to a lot of different aspects ng business. Hindi lang technical, hindi lang programmer. I work in Accenture, by the way. And pag malalaki kasi yung company, nagiging specialized ka na. You become good at certain things. But you don't get exposed to all aspects. So I joined mga smaller companies where I get more exposure before I started a company. So 2017, I started a company called IdeaTech from two people. ang pinakamahirap doon was actually to convince my wife na, oy, Ami, mag-ano na ako, magne-negosyo na ako. Tapos parang syempre, di ba? First question yan, oh, paano yung wala na tayong kita, yung mga ganun. So ang nagsabi ko na lang is that, we have savings for a year. Let's try it for a year. Pag nag-work out, edi okay. Pag hindi, siguro naman mabilis pa rin naman makahanap ng trabaho. So that's where it all started. I guess it's just really the dream na, to be able to do something. The advantage kasi of, entrepreneurship is that kaya mo execute yung vision na gusto mo. At the same time, you're also able to help more people. Diba? So, isipin mo, if you work as a programmer, diba? So, ang focus mo lang sarili mo, natulungan mo yung sarili mo, then you get promoted, maging team leader ka, manager, diba? You get to share your knowledge, you help the team. Hopefully, kung magaling kang manager, matuturuan mo sila, they will grow. But ang advantage with entrepreneurship, you're not only helping everyone in your team, you're also able to help out yung mga clients, di ba? Yung mga projects na mga clients. And some of the clients we've had are, large enterprises and government agencies. So for example, we help out, we did the system sa courts way before, early 2010s, yung e-court. So that transformed the entire judiciary na maging, digital and have better transparency. So once the system is able to roll out, now they're able to track yung mga status ng cases. So yung impact nun is not just me, not just the employees who work on it, it's the entire judicial system. So as an entrepreneur, you will have opportunities to reach beyond the people you work directly kasi may mga concepts or ideas na kayo na pwede nyong ma-roll out to a much wider audience. So if you have this vision, if you have this passion to help more, diba, then that's really the key advantage of starting your own entrepreneurship. At the same time, I was also a director of Founder Institute. Siguro so yung company ko, we started with two people. It just started to grow. We had government projects, we do outsourcing. At the largest, we were about 80 people, servicing, foreign, US, UK, Australia, and then we're also servicing mga government projects locally. And then that's when I started also Founder Institute. Founder Institute is a startup accelerator program from Silicon Valley. So sa office namin yun nag-start yan, I think 8 years ago eh. So mga 2016, 2015, around that time. Hindi pa masyadong uso rin yung startup at that time. Parang nagsisimula pa lang. Then there's not a lot who are doing startups in the country. So we were like one of the first who were teaching, what is the startup and how to start your own business. So, and I'm doing that for free. It's really just to help the community, to promote entrepreneurship, especially yung mga nasa tech. Kasi usually yung mga nasa tech, ang mindset nila, I'll do coding systems. Diba? Hindi, wala sa entrepreneurial mindset. But in fact, nandun yung opportunity sa tech. Sa entrepreneurship, it's really in the technology. Diba? Hindi mag-franchise. Diba? Ito is, you develop your own systems, you develop your own product na pwede mo i-roll out to a much larger population.
Yes, sir. Sa amin kasi dito sa Nueva Ecija, yun talaga nagiging path ng mga computer scientists, mga ITs natin, na after nilang gumraduate, hindi sila nag-build ng kanilang preneur. Nagano sila, nag-migrate sila sa Pampanga, sa Manila. So yung mga talents na nabibuild dito, nabubuo dito sa amin, talent pool, nawawala rin. Yun ang nagiging problem namin dito ngayon sa Nueva Ecija. That's why, I think malaking factor din po siguro yung merong mga road shows na ginagawa yung DICT, DOST, However, hindi pa rin nasusustain kasi po, I think we have to make sure that yung startup ecosystem is nandun pa rin sa mga schools wherein talagang ako as a teacher din po, hindi naman din na ituturo. I think na ituturo naman pero as ano lang, basta may turo lang. Pero kapag yung mindset ng mga estudyante, ang gusto talaga nila, magtatanong sila sa akin, saan ba pwede magtrabaho? Pwede ba ako sa ganito? Pwede ba sa ganyan? So, yeah, I think that's one of the reasons na sa part ko po is nag-advocate ako ng startups dito sa akin.
Yeah, that's a good initiative. Although medyo mahirap din kasing maiwasan na nagma-migrate sila. Siguro what you just want to promote na lang from time to time bumalik sila so that they can share whatever they have learned. Kasi mahirap din nga naman na mag-progress kung nandiyan lang din sila sa maliit na community, di ba? So maybe they get exposed out, but make sure they come back and share more ideas. Eventually mag-grow din yung yung knowledge.
Yes, sir. Sir, na kwento nyo kanina na kinausap nyo yung misis nyo na eto na, parang nag-isip-isip
Asawa ka na ba?
Yeah.
Mo na ba?
So, ano yung nakita nyo challenges noon? Nung sinabi nyo na meron naman ako 1 year na naipon, kung hindi talaga ubra, madali naman siguro maghanap ng trabaho. Ano pong nakita nyo challenges nun during those times?
Well, I guess it's just like, kasi at the time, senior manager na rin yung position ko, may stable income, di ba? So parang sanay na ganun, and everybody was against it kasi parang, napakahirap niyang gusto mong gawin, di ba? Parang napakasarap na ng buhay mo. Tapos, papahirapan yung sarili mo from scratch. So parang bala ko na rin naman even before that, no? So nangyari lang was, I have to plan what to say to convince, everyone else, 'di ba? So kailangan mag-ipon. Na-retrench ako before that, so may nadagdag dun sa mga savings. Tapos nag-ipon din. At nag-start din ako ng it didn't start na ganun. Parang may mga konting freelance work ako before that just to explore the market. Tapos nung tingin ko na parang pwede naman, parang kayang makahanap, before i-jump into that. So you also have to plan and prepare, di ba? Kasi syempre, I mean, meron tayong mga gastusin, meron tayong mga obligasyon, hindi rin naman ganun talaga kadali. And everyone faces that. Siguro, if there's any message na gusto kong parating sa mga nakikinig, kung paplanuhin nyo, magagawa nyo ng paraan. Huwag nyo isipin na, halimbawa, ayan, si Sir Al, mayaman naman yan, kaya nakapag-start. Hindi po. Marami din sa mga entrepreneurs nagsimula din sa wala. Pero pinagpaplanuhan yan. Diba? Alamin mo lang ano ba yung mga kailangan mong paghandaan para masimulan mo siya. And if you do the same, you should be able to get there. Kasi minsan ang nagiging mindset, ay wala akong pampuhunan, hindi na makastart. Forever ka nang di makastart kasi, di ba, parang gano'n. So ang tanong, paano nga ba ako magkakaroon ng pampuhunan para makapagsimula ako?
Sir, doon po sa may Idea Tech, is it, ano rin po ito, no? Ito po ba yung first, ito yung company nyo?
Yun yung first na company ko, oo.
Ano pong status ito ngayon?
So 2017, na-acquire kami ng Japanese firm. It's called Monstar Lab. So nakapag-exit na ako doon. And then 2020, yung Monstar Lab nag-IPO sa Japan. So publicly listed na. So now, I'm starting a new company called Predictive Systems and then specializing in artificial intelligence. For the last several years, I've been, studying a lot about artificial intelligence. That's where I'm spending my 10,000 hours again. Tandaan nyo, para maging magaling kayo, di ba? You have to put in at least 10,000 hours of work to achieve that.
And yes, sir, nabanggit niyo rin po yung e-court, digital, itong e-court. So ito is nasa year 2010.
Siguro? Oo.
Kamusta po ito? Inadapt
Roll out
din ni
bagong version ngayon. I mean, nagamit naman na nila. Hindi siya na-roll out full nationwide. May mga cities lang na gumagamit. But I think the Supreme Court is planning for a new version. Kasi, I mean, it's more than 10 years old. So, you need, there's more technology. It's probably due for replacement also.
Yes, sir. Yung pong kinukwento nyo kanina na kailangan mo ng, syempre may savings ka muna before ka mag-continue sa iyong entrepreneurship. Sa side po ba ng tech, kailangan po ba ng ganun kataas na capital muna? Or you can start from scratch na zero?
Okay.
Or
So, sa case ko kasi Oscar, I work for 10 years, nag-asawa na, tapos parang ilang months yung baby. So, may mga gastusin na. So, kailangan
Yes, sir.
talaga. Yan yung advantage ng fresh grad. Kung fresh grad ka, at pinapakain ka pa ng nanay at tatay mo, napakaswerte mo. Wala mo, diba? You can start on your own. Sabi mo, Nay, scholar mo ulit ako na isa pang taon. Worst case, pagalitan ka lang, di ba? Pero hindi ka magugutom. So that might be a good opportunity also to get into startups habang wala ka pa masyadong obligasyon. Kung magkamali ka man, hindi man nag-work, at the very least, may natutunan ka. Ito pala yung mga na-realize ko, paano mag-start, ano yung mga challenges, natutunan mo na siya. You'll, keep on improving from there.
Kapag kasi syempre, sa tingin ko naman po, mas okay pa rin talaga na after graduation, maghanap ka rin ng trabaho and gaya nga po nung sinabi nyo, build your career and mag-save. Then, pwede ka na rin mag-start ng iyong company. Pero, if you are not that kagaling sa tech and you are trying to mag-focus sa tech, ano po usually ang magiging setback? Kasi nowadays, maraming nagsasabing startup sila sa tech, pero hanggang sa umpisa lang, and then eventually, hindi rin natutuloy.
So, the good news, Oscar, yung success, entrepreneurship, it's not an art, it's a science. Ang madalas na sinasabi sa atin, halimbawa, ng mga lolo or lola. Ito si Aling Nena, ang lakas ng benta niyan sa kanto. No? Swerte. Ang mindset ba ay para maging successful, kailangan swerte ka. But in reality, it is science. Kaya yan malakas. Kasi nandun siya sa kanto, yung sa kanto nandun yun sa kayat ng tricycle. So if you are observant, if you are aware of what's happening around you, di ba, and you know the formula paano magkaroon ng successful na business, kaya mo siguraduhin na maging successful yung negosyo mo eh. So there is a science, and that's what, part of what we do if you join yung mga startup accelerator program. Kaya nga merong ganun eh. They will teach you, the right process, how to do it. So sa Founder Institute, meron kaming mga exam. Nandun, sa exam, we cover what are the attributes of a successful entrepreneur. Ano ba dapat yung meron ka para maging successful ka? And then we show you the different steps, customer discovery, product development, founders, di ba? So kanina sabi mo nga, paano kung hindi ka tech background? So doon papasok yung mga founders and co-founder na sa isang startup, there are 3 positions, di ba? The hustler, hindi ko alam kung familiar na kayo, but the hustler, the hacker, and the other H, I do not remember. But basically, may isang hustler, siya yung most likely CEO, siya yung nag-organize ng mga bagay-bagay, siya yung may idea. You have the hacker, siya yung nagko-code, tapos yung isa, yung UI person na nagagawa ng mga interface. Parang all of this combined should be enough for you to build a successful product. Yung tatlong skill na yan. Kung swerte mo na you have all 3, di mas madali, di ba? Maybe you just need a few co-founders to work with you.
Yes, sir. And yung pong nabasa ko rin yun. Dapat meron kang kasamang dalawa na if you're the hustler, meron kang top developer, isa naman, isa ganito. Usually sa finance naman yata, isa. Yun yata yung pagkabasa ko. Anyway, sir, maiba naman ako. Doon naman tayo sa iyong recent appointment as technical panel. Ayan. Sir, ano ba ang paano ba kayo na-appoint as technical panel for IT?
Hindi ko alam.
Di ba?
Nagka-receive na lang ako ng letter. Sabi niya, you are being appointed by the CHED something to the IT panel. So nagtanong-tanong pa ako kasi may mga friend akong dating sa technical panel din. So basically, ang trabaho lang namin is mag-review ng curriculum. Which I think, okay naman because I think it's something I'll be able to contribute. So for the longest time kasi, yung problem nga natin is yung mga graduates na napoproduce, yung mga skill, hindi naman yung hinahanap sa industry. So all this time, pagka nag-hire kami ng fresh grad, we have to train them pa. Di ba? Tapos na nga ng college, pero kailangan pa rin i-train. So, ang goal nga is, well, with these activities, mas mai-tighten yung gap na pag-graduate, maka-relevant na sa industry yung mga alam nila. So, given na naintindihan ko naman yung problema, alam ko rin naman yung mga pangangailangan, I accepted the appointment, makatulong din naman sa bansa, sa education natin.
Sa bagay, sir, nung last July kasi, sir, nag-attend din kami ng seminar ng DICT, and sinasabi nga nila, maraming talent pool na hindi naman aligned sa mga trabaho. Either
Sayang, naman eh.
Yes, sir.
Yung problema eh. Di ba?
Yun nga lang talaga, hindi aligned yung kanilang mga trabaho. And tingin ko nga sa curriculum natin, it's either outdated or you have to improve it.
Oo.
Ganun.
The way the education system was designed is parang, ladder-rise, and then you're expecting na hindi nagbabago, di ba? Which might be applicable if you are in history, electrical engineer, yung mga gano'n, na medyo stable, civil engineer, stable, wala masyadong tech. Sa IT, di ba, araw-araw may bagong lumalabas, buwan-buwan may mga bagong lumalabas. So then we are applying the same structure. So naturally, after 4 years, obsolete na talaga yung pinipare na programa for that. Lalo na ngayon with AI, it's moving even faster kahit ako hindi na ako makahabol. So that's been the challenge.
Yes, sir. So, and again, nung marami talaga rin mga talent pool na nasasayang. Kasi yun nga po, especially in the field of technology, na bukas, iba na naman yung trend, iba na naman yung mga na-develop, iba na naman yung mga codes, and hindi makasabay din yung mga estudyante. So, yun nga po, na i-share sa amin yung ginawa ng DICT in partnership with other industries. Gumawa sila ng skills framework.
Oo.
Meron po sila doon yung for cybersecurity, meron sila doon for AI, IT, BPM industry, and hopefully...
So I'm part of that. In fact, that's one of the talks I give out. I think last month lang sa Davao, PSF, lahat ng from CHED, lahat ng mga deans, and then we shared about the PSF program. So that's also, all of these are designed to align the academy with the industry. I think the next challenge is how fast can the system adapt to the changes, diba? Kasi like yung mga CHED CMO, kailangan mabilis ding yung approval. Yung mga eskwelahan din, kasi meron nga bagong programa, yung teacher ba, alam kung paano ituro, alam ba niya yung topic, diba? So kailangan mabilisan din yung matutunan ng mga teacher, ito pala yung bago ngayon, para kaya na rin nilang ma-share kaagad din.
Tingin niyo, sir, dapat pala talaga nun din kabilis maka-adapt yung mga teachers.
Siyempre, nagtuturo sila pinakamahalaga dyan.
Oo, kasi unlike siguro nga po sa sinasabi niyo, halimbawa sa electrical, yung civil, yung may mga standard, yung siguro pwede. Pero when it comes to ICT, kailangan talaga umaattend ka lahat ng mga bootcamps, and then yun ituturo mo sa mga estudyante. And yes, sir.
The good thing, Oscar, itong mga younger generation naman natin, kaya naman nilang aralin on their own with YouTube and all this material available. Pwedeng sila na rin But maybe, the teacher should be focusing more in giving proper directions, di ba? O, ito. And then asking the right questions. And then pwedeng peer-to-peer learning yung mode. Yeah, I mean, there are many. So, hindi na parang traditional teaching ba na dapat si teacher, lalo na kung college, di ba? Hindi na kailangan na si teacher alam lahat ng bagay. Kailangan lang magaling siya mag-facilitate. Kasi si
Yes.
ChatGPT, kaya na sagutin lahat eh.
Yes.
Di ba? So now the question is like, how do you ensure that the student is learning alongside with ChatGPT? Di ba? Kung may tanong siya, kaya niyang sagutin at hindi lang nagiging dependent doon sa tool. Parang, ay,
Yes.
makasagot lang ako, pumasa lang ako, okay na. Pero hindi niya naintindihan kung ano yung sagot niya. Di ba? So I think the role of the teacher is very essential in this circle, in this cycle of education.
Ayun nga sir nung pagpasok ko as part-time instructor, gusto nila mangyari, sir, online na lang yung exam, online na lang yung ganito. Inisip ko naman, kung mag-online ako, mukhang magkakaproblema yata. Parang altab-altab, calculation mangyayari. Diba? Yung siguro sir, sinasabi nyo na with the help of internet, ganyan. Dapat iba rin yung mag-isip yung teacher. Pag pinayagan mong ganun yung mga bata mo, din, lang, parang hindi sila natuto.
So parang dapat may exam na mga pen and paper, may mga activity na group activity na kailangan nila mag-usap kasi nade-develop din yung collaboration, critical thinking skills. Diba? Kahit na nag-rely sila sa tool, okay lang eh. Ang tanong is, did you use it correctly para ma-improve mo yung knowledge mo? So yun yung mga activity na kailangan nating pinopromote.
Yes, kaya ako, as part-time nga ako, pag may laboratory kami, ito gawin ninyo, gawin nyo yan. And then, pagka nagpapa-exam din naman po ako, face-to-face. So, dun ako nag-a-adjust na bawal ang online exams, dapat face-to-face.
Pwede. Yun yung pinakamadaling solusyon dyan.
Ito sir, ito nung nagbabrowse ako sa LinkedIn ninyo, nabasa ko yung isa nyong post or sa predictive systems yata ito. AI is the new electricity. It's time to build the appliance. Bakit nyo sir, ano ang perspective nyo?
Yeah, so yung AI is the new electricity, that's a phrase from Andrew Ng. I don't know if you're familiar, but he is the founder of Coursera, a Stanford professor. No, so he's like a prominent figure in AI. Kung nasaan man tayo sa AI ngayon, malaki yun na i-contribute niya doon. So sabi niya, AI is the new electricity. Kasi nga, just like how we are using electricity now, AI will be all over the place. All industries, all aspects of life, magkakaroon ng AI. Pakotse ka, nasa bahay, nasa kalsada ka, mga stoplight, nag-aaral ka, nasa ospital ka, kahit saan, merong AI. Just like how electricity is now. Now, given that, I think the AI has been parang standard na kahit siguro lahat ng nakikinig sa atin ngayon, alam na nila yan. No? So, the next question is, kung may electricity na, kailangan mo ngayon gumawa ng mga appliances. Kailangan mo gumawa ng mga tools, software na nagtitake advantage nito para magamit siya better, di ba? Magamit siya into different industries, into different use cases. Yun. So parang, kasi hindi naman kaya ni AI isipin or gawin lahat yan eh. Di ba? You have to build the components alongside it to make it more useful. Diba? So halimbawa, kung nagde-develop ka ng kotse, di ba? Saan mo ilalagay yung AI doon sa pag-develop ng kotse? Di ba? Kung farmer ka, saan mo pwedeng gamitin yung AI sa farming? No? So, ang may alam lang din nun would be yung farmer mismo na siya yung and then siya yung nag-practice, and then if he understands what AI is capable of, then you build applications to enable that. So feeling ko in the next few years maraming ganon na lalabas. The good thing is it will probably AI will be, an under big development probably for the next 5 up to 10 years. No? So kung tingin mo nasimula pa lang, kung tingin mong late ka na, huwag kayong mag-alala kasi mahaba pa yung pwede mo siyang paggamitan. Marami pang opportunity na pwedeng gawin sa AI.
Yes, sir. Yung pong third episode namin sa podcast, I don't know if kilala niyo si Sir Johnny Boyton, yung startup podcast. Ang sabi niya, kung ang AI kasi is parang ginawa niyang sa bahay. Ang programmer, sila yung nagbi-build ng foundations. Si AI, sila na yung bintana, sila na yung wall, sila na yung pintuan, kung saan parte na talaga sila ng ating daily life. Kumbaga, meron na siya dyan, meron na siya dyan. Talagang magiging parte na talaga ng daily life. I think, dun din talaga papunta si AI. So,
Yep.
And yes, sir. Kasi last week, and meron akong nakakwentuhan din. Computer scientist din po siya. I don't know kung makita niyo sa LinkedIn si John Robertson. Ginamit niya yung AI, yung kwento, gawing kwenta na ginawa niya. Wala kasing mga database itong mga tindahan. And ang gusto niya mangyari, yun nga po, sabi niyo, gamitin nating tool si AI. So ginawa niya tool si AI in a way na kukwento ka sa AI ng mga benta mo kasi wala naman usualing ballpen na pang note si sari-sari store. So nag-build siya ng isang program ng AI na magkwento siya hanggang sa si AI na rin magkukwenta ng kanyang mga kinita, and then magsasuggest si AI na ganito kinita mo, ganitong oras, bukas bukas ka ng mas maaga kasi ganito yung kinita mo. So I think that's one of the tools basically na gagamitin na purpose ni AI no sa iba't ibang ventures na kaparating.
Yep. So yeah. So usually I think there are two areas where you can look at na makatulong. Depends. So if like you're asking, saang part ba, saan aspect ng business pwede makatulong or sa buhay, saang aspect. You always look at it in two aspects, the offense and the defense. Yung offense is dumala sa defense. Yung defense is essentially making things more efficient. 'Di ba? Kung manually nag-e-encode ka sa system, sa database, kunwari may database system ka na, may tao kayo, nag-e-entry para ma-organize yung record, pwede niyong i-automate yun, yung buong proseso na yun. Dahil si AI ngayon, so talino na, kaya niya na gawin yung ibang part na gawin. So that's more into operational efficiency. The second is offense. So sa offense, then you are talking about new ideas, new business ventures, new types of customers na hindi nyo pa natatap before. Or even new things na seemingly impossible kasi tao lang tayo, ngayon posible na. 'Di ba? Yung ginagawa nila Google, yung mga AlphaFold na so mathematically complex na hindi naman talaga kaya ng tao. But with AI, mas feasible na siya. So they were able to come up with new discoveries, no? So and in the same manner, pwede naman din sa ibang business ventures, 'di ba? With the use of AI. So that should at least give you a better perspective. Ano bang solution yung gusto kong gawin? On the defense. So defense essentially is to cut down the cost, make things more efficient, make things faster. Eventually kasi syempre if you cut down the cost, that your profit will increase, 'di ba? Or generate new sales, 'di ba? Offense naman 'yun. So ano naman ibang opportunity na pwede kong gawin para lumaki yung aking benta. Either way, that helps you improve yung things, make things more efficient.
Yes, sir. So, kanina din, as I browse the internet, meron kayong artificially intelligent YouTube channel. So, pa-share nga po ng history about that.
Well, to cut the long story short, nung pandemic, wala akong magawa. Gusto kong mag-compose ng kanta for some reason. Alam mo naman, dami pandemic, bored na bored ka na sa buhay. Bumili ako ng mga equipment. Na-realize ko, hindi ko talaga talent ng pagkanta. So, nung nag-start ako into AI, sabi ko, gawa na lang ako ng podcast. Total, I have all the equipments already. Meron na ako ng mga ganitong, kita ba yan, mga ganyang mic, yung mga lights, di ba? So, and then, ang dami ko nang inaral about AI, I might as well share the knowledge in a YouTube channel. So ganoon, hanggang ngayon, I'm still, creating contents, hopefully trying to simplify the concepts behind AI. Not too simple, no? Pero hindi parang yung mga may hirap na sounds seemingly complicated, trying to make it more layman. At least that's the idea. Hindi ko alam kung naintindihan ng mga tao, but that's the intent of that channel.
Yes, sir. Kasi pagka sinabi mong AI, sa dami-dami ng publications about AI, napakadaming figures, napakadaming kung ano-anong formula equations. Pag tinignan niyo yung podcast ninyo, yung channel ninyo, ito pala yung simplest form, simplest way. Gagamit ka ng Excel. I think that's yung better way of teaching, na yung akala siguro is mabobombarded ka ng napakadaming ideas. Pero in a simple manner, ganito lang siya kadali.
Yeah. Oo, pag tinignan mo yung paper, di ba, ang daming mga isda doon, mga quadratic equation, derivative. So, yan, puro mga logarithm, derivative. Pero kung maintindihan ko siya, yun lang naman pala ang gusto kong sabihin eh.
Yun lang pala gusto sabihin ng
hopefully, parang ganun. That's the intent.
Yun nga po, may nabasa ako na para lang siyang improve statistics, improve way of yung ganitong mga formula na dinaan lang sa iba't ibang codes, sa iba't ibang formula. Pero in layman's term, ganito lang siya ka-simple. Yes.
Yep.
And I think, sir, that's yun yung mga kailangan ng mga estudyante natin ngayon, na kasi yung mga estudyante ko ngayon, sabi nila, would you like to continue sa AI ba, or magne-network ka na lang, magsa-cybersecurity ka na lang? Sir, parang ang hirap ng AI eh. Mag-chat GPT na lang ako, sir, kaysa mag-AI ako. Di gamitin mo si chat GPT, gumawa ka rin ng language mo. Ayaw ko, sir. Ayaw ko niyan. So I think I have to share your channel sa aking
Go ahead.
Yes.
Baka mas may gana sila, sana.
And sir, I have these 2 questions remaining about irresponsible usage of AI. Ano po ba kasi may nabasa din ako na AI is papunta na rin sa worst niya, and meron din namang AI na maganda ang impact. So how would you differentiate the two, yung nagiging negative na and nagiging positive?
I think the negative will always be there. Even before age of AI, even the age before technology, there will always be bad actors, there will always be bad people. The question is, how do we make it less accessible to them? How do we, hindi na talaga mawawala yun, di ba? Kaya hanggang yun, may virus pa rin, di ba? So the challenge really is that with AI, napakadali nang gumawa ng scam, mga fake news, di ba? I mean, it's so easy. And it's like 10 times harder to control. Pero hindi mo kailangan maging super AI, super smart sa AI para gumawa ng isang spam. Ano lang, it's readily available, no? But to detect spam, napakahirap gawin, no? So that's always a challenge. The same with cybersecurity, di ba? Download ka lang ng mga files sa malware, pwede mo na pakalat, bago-baguhin mo lang ng konti, 'di ba? Pero para ma-detect siya, it's even harder. Now with regards to, meron kaya tawag na P-doom. It's the P, kung nag-statistics ka, 'di ba? It's a P of doom. Like, what's the probability of magiging doom yung AI? So parang yung number, according to the AI expert, is getting better. So parang mas nag-a-align naman daw ang mga AI ngayon towards better. That's parang siguro last year or early this year or late last year, parang may mga debate pa yan na nga, it's a doom, you have to do this, you have to do that. But parang yung statistics ngayon from the latest mga researcher and mga practitioners ng AI, nag-i-improve siya. Of course, there's really no evidence of that other than, what people think about it. But hopefully that's a good news. I guess because most countries are already looking into their own responsible AI na mga principles, frameworks, di ba? Sa atin, yung Supreme Court, they're also discussing about, ethical AI, responsible AI. So as long as the awareness gets spread out, hopefully, we get more aligned rather than the Terminator type na scenario.
Yes, Terminator scenario. Yes, sir. And ito po is yung nakita ko rin sa mga post niyo. Stop being developer, start being entrepreneur.
Iba yan. Yan. Ibang post yan. May nagpa-consult sa akin, mga dati kong employees, pa-consult sila. Tapos, nung tinanong ko sila, like, what problem are you solving? Hindi nila ma-define. Pero kaya nilang i-define yung solution, pero hindi clear yung yung problem. Tapos parang so that parang parang okay, so magaling nga sila mag-code, gumawa sila ng system, pero hindi nila alam kung ano yung problem na sinosolve nila, tsaka kung sino yung magbe-benefit doon. So that is a very typical mindset ng developer kasi nakita niya, ang ganda nitong algorithm na to, it's so amazing, gawa ako ng ganito para sa ganyan. Only to find out na, wala naman palang problem na ganun. So usually you'd want to start with the problem, and not only that, with the problem na you have a customer who's willing to pay. Kasi baka nga, problem, tapos, pero hindi man sila willing bayaran, magmastos para that, meaning it's not painful enough for them to spend on. So being an entrepreneur, you get to think a lot more than that, di ba? Understanding your customers, understanding your problem before you come up with a solution. Kasi the solution should be solving a problem. The technology should be solving a problem. It's if you want to build a technology for technology's sake, that's more of parang academic research. Diba? That's what the schools do. They do academic research to prove certain mathematical theorem or to build certain algorithms. Pero hindi rin clear paano siya gagamitin. I'm not saying that's bad. Diba? Kailangan natin yun. But, if you want more impact, then you have to look into the application ng mga technology na yun. So to expound on that, so for example, the Moderna vaccine. The Moderna vaccine, the technology behind that was actually an academic research several years ago. Matagal na siya na technology kung titingnan mo. Yung, hindi ko na maalala, but there's the technology or that to come up with the vaccine, no? So, pero naka-park lang siya. Right? It's now when they sa nangyari, hindi naman din dinevelop ni Moderna yung algorithm, yung formulation na yun The mRNA. Yan, halala ko na. The mRNA. Matagal na siya na research from the academe. No? So, then you apply it sa COVID. No? In fact, mRNA can be applied across different types of diseases. So, what I'm saying is those are two different fields of study. One is on the research side, you just do it for research, diba? The other is applying all this research. So if you want to start a business, a money-making business, the easiest way is to look for these researches na nagawa na and apply that to the problem that you are solving. Kasi napakahirap din naman mag-research lang na mag-research kasi hindi mo alam kung may result ba. Diba? Nag-research ka nga, may problem na ganito, and then you do a research. baka hindi mo na ma-come up yung solution, wala ka ng pera, gutom ka na, ano pa mangyayari, di ba? So those are two different aspects.
Sir, ito, naidagdag ko lang na sa mga tanong. Sa current situation ng startup scene and the economy of the Philippines today, sa tingin niyo po, ano bang magandang AI tools ang pwedeng gamitin? For example, in the field of agriculture, o sa sector ba kailangan talaga ng AI tool? Sa education sector ba? Agriculture sector ba?
I think the pinaka-obvious na affected is education. Right? Kasi si ChatGPT napaka-accessible kahit yung mga anak ko, I'm sure ikaw ginagamit mo rin yan. Lahat ng estudyante niyo ginagamit. So definitely, that's one. And the easiest is, of course, by educating also the proper use of all this technology. Yung sa mga agriculture kasi, you need data to be able to do that. For example, you want a prediction model for supply and demand, weather prediction. You need certain data to use that. Yung sa education, hindi. Right away, type mo. May ilalabas na yun, di ba? So, which is good if the students were trained to use it properly, how to learn, di ba? If you are naturally inquisitive, you want to learn, ang daming mo matututunan, di ba? Hindi na-explain ni teacher maigi, chat mo si ChatGPT, skeptic ka pa rin, parang mali ito ah. Di ba? You can do some more research. Kasi hindi naman laging tama yung sagot ni ChatGPT, di ba?
Yes.
Pero kung di mo siya tinuruan, baka naman, i-absorb na lang niya lahat ng sagot ni ChatGPT. Kahit mali, natutunan niya pati mali. Di ba? So you also have to teach them how to be critical in analyzing the answer ng mga AI for themselves and then improve on it, di ba? Continue improving on it. So that should, speed up yung learning process also, by a huge margin than how we are doing it traditionally. So that's one. Sa amin sa programming, malaki rin yung impact. I mean, kung CS ba, ano bang course mo? Anong tinuturo mo?
Pinipiling ako, sir.
Oo, malaki rin yung impact niyan kasi nga, we have Cursor, you have all these tools, yung mga Bolt New, Replit. Siya na nagko-code mag-isa. Which means, syntax is no longer important. Hindi na mahalaga kung kabisado mo yung syntax ng Python, ng C, ng kung ano man. No? But, in fact, some of the logic baka hindi na rin mahalaga eh. What is more important is understanding the problem and how you can solve the problem through the use of technology. Ano yung mga fields na kailangan i-display dyan? Ano yung hinahanap nila para ma-generate mo? You will then, come up in designing the system. But the actual coding itself, it's only a matter of time na parang hindi na ganun kahalaga yung pagko-code kasi kaya na ni AI generate yung code. And that's only what? Less than 2 years, di ba? Since nagkaroon. So imagine 3 years or another 2 years from now, mas magpo-progress pa siya.
How about sir sa fintech?
Hindi ako
AI
sure.
fintech.
Hindi ako masyadong nasa fintech. Hindi ko alam, may idea ka ba?
Ang wala rin sir. Kasi yung huli kong kausap sa Palawan Pay, Sir Herbert,
Okay.
hindi sila aligned pa doon sa AI.
Alright. So magabubuti na banggit mo. So for example, Palawan Pay or Palawan or nagagamit siya for example for finding out loan approval. So instead na may mga taong nagre-review, pwedeng may prediction model ka na lang, malalaman mo yung credit risk ng isang tao. Meron kami isang study sa AIM, Data Science, na si Home Credit, may data ni Home Credit lahat ng na-approve tsaka hindi na-approve. We did prediction models, we did different types of models. And it turned out na if they increase their approval rate by, hindi ko na maalala exact number by a certain percent, parang 1% more. Kumbaga, dagdagan mo yung ina-approve mo. Tataas yung default rate mo, di ba? Kasi siyempre sinasala na nila eh. Pero kung luwagan mo lang ng konti, mas maraming makaka-apply, tataas yung default rate mo, pero in total, mas malaki pa rin yung kikitain mo. parang in proportion dun sa mawawala sa'yo dahil sa mga nag-default against dun sa interest na nakuha mo dahil mas marami kang na-approve. In the end, parang I think there was around another $50 million na additional revenue or profit na pwede nilang makuha because of that. No, so different, yun na nga, different industries, different businesses have different use case na mapagagamitan. Mabuti nabanggit mo yung Palawan Pay. So, otherwise, masabi mo fintech lang in general, parang hindi siya clear, but so different, ano yun, mas nagkaka-perspective when you get into a specific type of business, different type of industry.
Yes, sir. Nung parang
I think lahat yan meron eh.
Yes,
Lahat
sir.
ng industry meron. It's just, syempre hindi ko naman alam lahat. Di ba?
Mhm.
Yung mga practitioners, yung mga domain expert, sila yung mas makakasabi rin anong better. And then probably, as the expert in AI, I can tell them what algorithms or what we can do to solve those problems. But to identify the problems, you also need the domain experts.
Kasi parang may nabasa nga po ako na article about home credit na next year yata abot talaga ng mataas since ang dami nag-a-apply sa kanila ng loans. Ang bilis sa, I think sa issue lang
iPhone.
gamit sa mga cellphone eh. Yun yata ang number one nila revenue.
iPhone, di ba?
Yes, yes. Saka pa sa LinkedIn ko yata nabasa yun. Anyway, sir, any advice for the students when it comes to startups and about technopreneurship?
I think first thing is to know what is their passion. Ako, I was able to survive kasi I found what I want to do in life. So, mahalagang simula ka muna doon. Alam mo ba kung anong gusto mong gawin? And it's not really to have lots of money. Having lots of money is a byproduct of, doing good, giving something of value. Naturally, magkakapera kayo. But finding, what you are passionate about, what you want to do. Kasi, hindi din madali maging entrepreneur. I'm sure pag naririnig niyo yung mga entrepreneur, lahat, will inspire you. But what you do not know is how hard it is, behind the scenes. And what will keep you going is this passion, this commitment na kahit mahirap, itutuloy ko to. Ngayon, kung wala ka nung commitment na yun, at, you face those problems, you will give up. Diba? And when you give up, that's the time you fail. Diba? When you have problems, tapos hindi ka nag-give up, hindi pa tapos yung laban. Laban ka pa sa boxing. But if you, yun na nga, diba? So if the moment you give up, that's the time na you fail. So, kasi there will always be failures eh. Yeah? So, if you keep on learning from that, then you keep on surviving. Yun na.
Yun. So, thank you po, Sir Alan. Thank you very much for that one, for this wonderful talk na na-share nyo sa amin yung experiences ninyo, yung expertise ninyo, sa ating mga viewers. And yeah, before we end this podcast, i-share ko na sa inyo yung artificially intelligent channel ni Sir Alan. Marami po kayong videos na mapapanood doon wherein akala nyo napaka-complex. Sinimplify po ni Sir Alan. And yeah, meron din po siyang iba't ibang mga ventures and I'm hoping na i-visit nyo ang kanya LinkedIn and marami rin matutunan doon. May mga talks siya doon in the field of technopreneurship, entrepreneurship and responsible AI. And yeah, thank you very much again, Sir Alan, for
Alright, thank you, Oscar.
Yeah.
I hope natutunan ng ating mga listeners.
Yes. Thank you very much for
Alright, thank you, Oscar.
See you po.